What is up, you guys? I am Sinister Plague Doctor. My real name is Mitchell. This video is going to be a bit different, but I feel like it's something I need personally and also to help some people in my community. This whole video is going to be talking about my bipolar disorder. There may be trigger warnings, I'm going to say that now, just because I know a lot of people do experience this and it can get into your head and then set you back. So be warned. But I feel like, especially because of the position I'm in circumstantially right now, I can't go to therapy. My therapist is a full-time therapist, but also does National Guard on the side, and they're on tour for until the end of next month, until the end of April. And they've been gone since about January, so I haven't had a therapist in a few months now. Things have gotten pretty bad mentally. But this whole video, I want to talk about my bipolar disorder, how it affects me, what bipolar disorder 2 is, and what I'm going to try to do to make things better. So first of all, I want to start off with what bipolar 2 is. Bipolar 2, because there are two types of bipolar, there's bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. Bipolar 2 is labeled bipolar depression. I will admit, first-handedly, even though it sucks, bipolar 2, in my opinion, is not as bad as bipolar 1. So I have it a little easier there, but I'm going to talk about how it affects me in every way. This is something I've been super depressed lately. My videos have been infrequent. I've been very unhappy. I need to do this for myself, and if any of my viewers are currently struggling with mental illness, I'm hoping that this can reach them and give them some more insight, maybe some help, just to know that they're not alone. I'm going to try to be really honest in this video, which is hard for me because the only person I've ever been 100% honest with is my therapist. But I feel like I need to do this, and I feel like some people could benefit from it, so I'm going to do it. So bipolar 2. Bipolar 2 is bipolar depression. Online it says that bipolar disorder is a mental health condition defined by periods or episodes of extreme mood disturbances that affect mood, thoughts, and behavior. There are two types of bipolar disorders. Bipolar 1 disorder involves episodes of severe mania and often depression. Bipolar 2 disorder involves a less severe form of mania called hypomania. There's also a third type known as cyclothymic disorder. So basically what it is, a lot of people have a very skewed misconception of what bipolar disorder is. They believe it's just like rapid mood swings most of the time. Like I hear a lot, especially being in Montana with the weather is bipolar. Because one day it'll be sunny and 60 degrees and the next will be snowing or raining and negative 12 degrees, you know what I mean? Literally, and it's not a joke, this winter in Montana, we had days where it would go from like Tuesday was negative 25 degrees, and then the next day was 25 degrees. And it's like a 40 degree difference in a day. So like I get it, but a lot of people have a skewed conception of what bipolar is. They think it's just rapid mood swings, like 1 second you're happy and the next you're angry. But that's not what it is. I mean, it is, but there are also so many more things that go into bipolar disorder, and I'm going to talk about them. So real quick, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I usually don't make content like this, but it's something I feel in my heart I have to do right now. So yeah, if you like the content, if you feel like you relate, please like the video, please subscribe. I'm not even asking that for my own benefit. The more likes this video gets and comments and stuff, it gets pushed into the algorithm. I want people to be able to relate. And I think this is, I've never asked for this, and I ask people to like and sub, but like this video in general is not a purpose to get me more subs or grow my channel. I genuinely making this for 50% myself because I need to vent, I need to explain things, and 50% for the people out there who are dealing with mental illness or mental disorders and cannot afford therapy, feel like they're alone, just need someone to relate to. I'm trying to do that. So if you can like the video, that helps a ton. I'm not even going to ask you to subscribe. If you like my content, please do, but that's not a thing on this video. I'm trying to just be real here. So I got diagnosed when I was 12, maybe 13, just turned 13. What happened was I went all my life feeling I was very outspoken, especially in elementary school. I was like a social butterfly. I would get in trouble for class or in class every day for talking to my friends and stuff like that. I'd goof off, but it was because I never felt like I was being challenged in school. I'm not a braggy person, but I was ahead of the curve in elementary school and middle school. I was testing in like the late high school, early to mid college level for almost everything. Like I was just ahead. So the schoolwork they were giving me in class in elementary school wasn't a challenge. So I would just kind of half-ass it. But that's neither here nor there. That doesn't do anything to the story. When I turned 12, I went into 7th grade. And my town is small. I mean, it's not like tiny, but it's pretty small. There's like 2 main middle schools. There are other middle schools, but they're like religious middle schools, like Catholic and Christian middle schools. So there are 2 main public middle schools in the town that I live in. And yeah, it wasn't bad at first, but then in my study hall class, I started getting bullied. In study hall and like kind of in between classes, between like lunch and the second half of the school day, I'd get bullied. It wasn't anything serious, like I wasn't beat up or anything. But as I've come to learn, I am a very sensitive person. It's not something I'm proud of. I wish I could contain my shit better. But I'm a very sensitive person. My feelings get hurt easily. Every day that I would go into this study hall class, there were a couple kids that would just like call me names, say I'm shitty at this, shitty at that, I'm a pussy, I'm the F word, not the cuss word, but like the slang, derogatory term. And it just really got into my head. Like it really got into my head to the point where I refused to go to school. Because at that point, I had a lot, like in elementary school, I was a social butterfly. I had a shit ton of friends. And so like if we're out at lunch or recess or whatever, there was always someone for me to hang out with, talk to, whatever. Always had friends. And then I get thrown into a school that has 500 more students than what I'm used to. And I know nobody. And then I'm getting bullied. So I started to refuse to go to school. And it's because I had so many health issues from being bullied. I ended up having to see multiple doctors and get a specialist for gastroenterology because it turned out from the bullying I had gotten IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, which is like anytime you get stressed or anxious or overwhelmed to a point, your stomach just doesn't know how to handle it and it gets like turned in knots, and that's what mine does. So I'd refuse to go to school because like I was puking in the morning, my stomach was killing me because I was being bullied. And the school ended up giving my parents a choice of sending me to a in-state child mental facility or changing schools. And at that point, I was so dumb and naive and just wanted to get away from everything that they let me choose, and I chose to go to the mental facility. And that's a whole nother story, because that doesn't really have to do with what bipolar disorder is, but that's a whole nother story. If you would like to hear the story about my experience with the mental facility for children, let me know in the comments, and I will make a video on it. But that's not what this video is about. I went to the mental facility at 12 years old. The therapist there, the psychologist there, tested me in all my academics, and I was testing way higher than my age in my grade. But I ended up staying in that hospital about 3 months, which was a very traumatic experience for me. But bipolar disorder, how I said earlier in the beginning, a lot of people think bipolar disorder is just rapid mood swings, which it's not. I mean, it can be, because like if the tone is wrong, if someone says one thing, if something happens, my mood can go 0 to 100 instantly. But that's not all it is. And a lot of people have a misconception that bipolar is just rapid mood swings. I had bipolar 2, which is a less severe version or form of bipolar 1. So I don't experience such high manias, even though I do get very manic. But my depressions are extremely low. They're extremely low. So it gets, a lot of people just think rapid mood swings. It got to the point where for a year straight, I wasn't taking care of myself because of how depressed I was. I didn't take care of like hygiene and stuff like that, and my teeth got really bad. It just kind of happened. It was one of those things which I know people can relate to, at least with mental illness. I've never been able to envision myself living a long life. I didn't even think I'd make it to 25, and I turned 25 in a week. So it's genuinely weird to me to still be alive. Because I've always been depressed and suicidal, it is very weird for me to have made it to this point. And now I have a ton of things health-wise that I'm dealing with, because for a year or two straight, I just didn't care. And I didn't take care of myself. I wasn't eating good. I wasn't being hygienic. I wasn't taking care of myself. And that really affected me, and still is affecting me. My teeth, I'm still going to the dentist to get worked on every couple months. I have a hard time holding down a job because of my anxiety that I get from my bipolar disorder. And a big thing about it is I fall into a routine with the job, even if I like the job. And it gets to a point where I just only think about the stuff that I could be doing outside of my job, like YouTube and streaming and making content. And I'm just, even my therapist has brought my mom in to talk about this during therapy sessions. I'm not a 9 to 5 person. I'm not, which sucks because that's how this world is. But with the way my brain works, I'm not a 9 to 5 person. I want to be creative. I want to be in charge of what I'm doing. I want to be, you know what I mean, rewarded and doing something that challenges me every day. And especially with where I live, the jobs just don't do that. So I have a really hard time holding down a job. I also am on medications. I'm on currently Depakote and Zyprexa, or olanzapine is the generic name. And it's a mood stabilizer and an antipsychotic medications. I bring that up because I also have a very hard time consistently taking my medications. A couple things happen. I get to a point where I've been on the meds for a while and I feel like I'm good enough to get off of them, which is never smart. Don't do that. If you are bipolar or depressed or any of those mental disorders and you are on medications to help, stay on them. You got this. Eat food. You're good. I promise. Like, it's worth it to take it, and I've just recently started taking mine again. But that's something I've always struggled with since I first got put on medications, is consistently taking my medications, especially because I don't want to feel like a zombie. And my meds, because of the mood stabilizers and antipsychotic meds, what they're supposed to do is mellow your moods into a certain point. But what happens is, this is happiness and excitement, this is depression and sadness. It brings them both in. So what happens is, like, for example, a big thing happens, a happy, exciting thing. I don't feel nearly as excited or happy. I'm just kind of, just meh. Which sucks. And I understand it's taking the good with the bad, but I've always had a very, very hard time sticking on my medications because even though the lows are so low and bad, I don't like not having the highs. I don't like not being excited and genuinely, like, just happy with things. Everything just kind of feels like bleh. And that bothers me a lot. So I have a very hard time sticking on my medications. And also, I'm going to be completely blunt and honest. I've, in the past few months, gotten into drinking alcohol. And you're not supposed to mix alcohol with the medications. So I haven't been consistent with my meds recently because of the alcohol, which I need to stop. But that is also a thing with bipolar, is you use things to mask your emotions. And marijuana and alcohol have been those things that I use to cope, which isn't good. But this video is all about honesty. You guys can say whatever you want in the comments. That's fine. This video was genuinely something I wanted to do to spread awareness for other people, give them a place that they know they're not alone and I can relate, and just explain what this disorder is. And but backtracking a little bit, because now we've talked about the meds, back to what I was saying. People think bipolar disorder is just rapid mood swings, but that isn't the case at all, because, like, when you're bipolar and you're unmedicated, I'm going to explain the different phases. There are mania and depressive. Which I know, hearing that seems like, okay, there's two states, you flop back and forth. No. What happens is, it is usually triggered by traumatic events or events that stress you out. So, stressful week at work, a breakup with a significant other, a family member dying, something like that. That can trigger you into a manic episode because your brain has a fight or flight instinct. And with bipolar disorder, it almost works against you because your brain thinks that you're upset and that you can't handle it and that you're going to get, like, really, like, depressed and down. And so it's almost like a light switch. Just flick it on, and that's what your brain does. And then you're manic because your brain is trying to protect you from yourself. You go manic. And what happens when I go manic is I get very grandiose ideas. And what that means is very almost out of reach, large ideas. I pick up new hobbies all the time. I actually started YouTube during a manic episode because I wanted to create content. I spent over $3,000 on my setup with my monitors and my computer and everything, and started YouTube because I was manic. I've completely deep cleaned, reorganized bedrooms, houses, picked up different sports, picked up different hobbies, and get like super duper into them because I'm manic, which isn't a bad thing because I love hobbies. I love keeping my mind occupied. I love learning new things. I love being creative. So those are always good. What happens though is the sleep and eating. When I'm manic, I'm so wired and so just like high strung, I don't get hungry and I don't think about eating. I'll go 3 or 4 days without eating any food and then almost start vomiting because I haven't eaten in 3 or 4 days and my body is like eating everything in my stomach up. And then with the sleep, when I'm manic, my sleep is super bad because I get this idea in my brain that I'm only alive for a certain amount of time. And if this is something I want to do, then I have to put 110% into it, no matter what it is. If it's YouTube, last week I was kind of manic, even though I was kind of depressed. I grinded out 6 videos, all an hour long. Editing took another 2 hours on top of that. It was like 12 to 18 hours to make those videos. And I just did it because I was manic. You know what I mean? That's how it is. But then what happens is you get so manic for so long, at least I do. I get so manic for so long. Sometimes it's lasted up to a month where I'm vomiting from anxiety. I'm having like severe shakes because of my eating habits and my sleep habits. And it gets to a point where my body I'll go to sleep. And 3 or 4 hours later, I wake up once and I'm wide awake because my body, again, my brain immediately is like, you're up, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And so I get no sleep. When I'm very manic, I end up sleeping twice a day for about 3 hours to 4 hours at a time. And it's almost like little naps. And then I'm wired doing stuff. But then when I'm depressed, it's a similar thing with the eating. I don't eat. And I sleep way more. When I'm depressed, I sleep like 10 or 11 hours straight. And then I'm up and then I don't want to do anything because I'm groggy and I'm tired and I just feel weak and exhausted. And I feel like there's no point, especially with YouTube, because I'm like, what are the actual chances that my YouTube channel takes off and I can make something that I love a career? You know what I mean? And I know that's just like a normal thought, but like it gets embedded in my brain to the point where when I'm depressed and in that depressive state, I don't do anything. And like as a bipolar person in those states, you have to force yourself to do stuff. You do. So if viewer, you're listening right now and you have bipolar disorder and you're going through something right now and feel like you want to do something but don't have the motivation, do it. I'm serious. Make a cup of coffee. If you smoke some weed, do something, have a drink a little bit, have a glass of wine. Do that hobby. Because the second you finish that hobby, the second you start doing it, your brain is just going to get into the hobby. And then when you finish it, not only do you realize, wow, for the last 3 hours, my mind was completely good, but you were able to do that on your own. And you get a rewarding feeling because you did something productive. That's something I've had to do multiple times throughout my life. I make almost like chore sheets, mental chore sheets for my brain every day because I have hobbies, but like when I get depressed, I don't want to do anything. I make myself make a video. I make myself edit a video. I make myself read for 15 minutes a day. I make myself draw for 15 minutes a day. I make myself write or journal for 15 minutes a day. It's little chunks, but it gets my mind occupied. It makes me think. It helps me get my feelings out. I'm creative. I'm doing something I like. I feel rewarded at the end of it all. So if you're dealing with this type of stuff on your own, please try that because it will help a ton. Um, but yeah, that's I just really needed to make this video this past couple weeks. I mean, the past 6 months I've been sick. I got sick with COVID, and then I got a cold, and then I got the flu, and then I got walking pneumonia. I have been sick consistently for 6 months. And then at the edge of getting better with my walking pneumonia, I was popping my back, and I either pulled a muscle or pinched a nerve. My back has been thrown out for 2 weeks now. Like, I'm just uncomfortable. I don't feel good, and it's putting me in a very bad mental place, especially without being able to see my therapist. So I just really wanted to make this video to spread awareness, and for myself, just to vent, because I think everybody needs to do that at some point. And I know my viewers love the channel, and I have an amazing community, and I'm sure there are at least a few of you that can relate to this. So this video is kind of for you guys. I mean, it is definitely for me. I needed to vent, but like, I want to spread awareness and let my community and viewers know that you're not alone. I am not perfect. No YouTuber is perfect. Most of the time, the big YouTubers, I know you see them and they seem very outgoing, but those are the most anxious and usually depressed people, because that's why they're alone in their house making content. I don't like dealing with people. I get scared. I get anxious. I just want to be in charge of my thing, be creative, be myself, have fun, and spread joy and awareness. So that's what this video is all about. I hope that gives you guys some more insight on bipolar disorder and bipolar 2 and what it really is and how it affects people. If you have any questions, please comment them below. If I missed anything, I'll be happy to answer. If I need to make a follow-up video, I can, even going more into depth on experiences that I've had, the places I've been, things I've dealt with, because I'm going to drop this kind of bombshell. I have tried to unalive myself 3 times at this point throughout my life because of my bipolar disorder. I've ended up in the hospital every time. One of the times was in an ambulance, and I was in and out of consciousness for 3 days. But I also think that everything happens for a reason, so I'm meant to be here to do something. And even if I don't know what it is, maybe it's spreading awareness. So I hope you guys can relate well, actually, I don't hope you guys can relate to the video, because it's not fun to deal with. But I hope if you guys are dealing with the same things as me, that this video is something you can relate to and take something away from. So yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest, I guess, off my shoulders, and just talk a bit. So thank you guys. If this video helped you at all, please like, and now that you know a little bit more about me, maybe think about subscribing to the channel. That wasn't the goal of this video, but that's the whole goal of my channel, is making a space for people to feel safe to talk about their issues and their lives. And I will comment back. I will talk to you about it. I can even make videos discussing certain things. I just wanted to make a place where people can kind of escape their lives and feel like they're not alone. So I'm sorry to rant. I'm sorry about the video, but thank you if you stayed this long for watching it, and I hope you took something away from it. I'll see you guys next time.